Coming up, unemployment insurance. How did it start and where is it going? Also, an Aiken faith-based initiative gives a sense of purpose to people looking for a new start. All this and more coming up on Carolina Works. Hi everyone, I'm Clark Newsom, and this is Carolina Works, the monthly news magazine of the South Carolina workforce system. Foreclosure, bankruptcy, and bailout. For the last month, the alarm bells have been going off up and down Wall Street, where a tight economy and an imploding housing market have sent investors everywhere diving for cover. Is this the worst calamity since the crash of 1929? If it is, there is at least one major difference. A safety net that offers a small measure of assistance to people who take the hardest hit. This month we feature two stories about the unemployment insurance system, how it started and where it stands today. We'll also take a look at Jobs for Life, an innovative faith-based initiative in Aiken that is giving hope and help to people in the need of work. We start by taking a look back over 70 years ago when the country was caught in the grips of the Great Depression, and a new program provided assistance and hope.
When thousands of people were thrown out of work after the stock market crash of 1929, the last thing anyone expected was help from the government.
You would lose everything. I mean, you could go very quickly from having your home to having it be taken away and being destitute to having your family split apart. The implications on domestic relationships, on men and women, on marriage, on birth rates was dramatic. When people lost their jobs or people's money was washed away in the banking crisis with no insurance, they often, divorce rates were high, and they often said, you know what, we're going to not have any children. Or men felt emasculated and said, I'm thinking about doing all kinds of terrible things to myself. I mean, there was a real sort of psychological impact of these economic events. And I think sometimes we fail to think about, how they affected the everyday family who learned to sort of just stash money under their mattresses. And when that money ran out, they'd either have to move, they'd have to live with other families. This was a very quick turn between people who found themselves relatively secure to if they were farmers or workers that were laid off, or in particular industries or bankers or that were foreclosed, that would be the case.
The crisis touched every home. In the cities, industries were shut down, banks closed. Out on the farm, things were no better, as drought, soil erosion, and sandstorms wiped out one farm after the next.
I consider that this is the worst drought we've ever had.
The threat of civil unrest ate away at the fabric of society. In Washington, destitute World War I veterans waged a bitter fight for bonus checks. The government responded first with tanks, and then with torches.
That all men are created equal.
For some, the Depression exposed a fault line under the foundation of capitalism.
And there can be no pursuit of happiness with people starving and going naked in the land that has too much.
The Depression would slog on for a decade, but a new president offered a new deal, and it fundamentally changed the role of government in American life.
In 1933, when Roosevelt took office, that was the low point of the Great Depression. At that time, economists, government analysts did not know how severe the recession was. It's only now, when we have reliable statistics and are able to reconstruct what went on, that we I understand that unemployment reached practically 25% of the labor force.
Roosevelt wasted no time in getting major legislation passed to get the country back on its feet.
I think naturally, when he became president, to advance his legislation, and his legislation moved very quickly. Remember, in those days, the president took office in March. So he took office in March of 1933, March 4th. Later that month, he created the first public works programs.
Roosevelt's Works Progress Administration also found jobs for the unemployed in a number of fields. Painters painted, actors acted, the Civilian Conservation Corps planted trees. New construction projects were initiated. These projects didn't end the Depression, but they did help people endure.
Well, she's pretty tough, all right. But I think we're going to have better times. I think we're going to have better crops from now on. I think we had all the failures I think we can expect. And I have a lot of confidence in our government.
Franklin Roosevelt personalized the presidency in a way that had not previously been attempted. Roosevelt made an attempt to really reach out to people and say, I care about you, I'm accessible, let me know if you need something. That in and of itself ushered in a huge transformation in terms of the way people conceptualized government. And it had a kind of resonance in the New Deal policies, which made people feel hopeful. It isn't that all New Deal policies were initially successful or even eventually successful, but rather that people had a kind of a faith in them because of the way Franklin Roosevelt really refashioned the presidency.
And I think we've gone a long ways in less than a year.
With the help of New York Senator Robert Wagner, Congress passed the Wagner-Pizer Act, which established the U.S. Employment Service, which would help find jobs for people. In 1935, the Social Security Act introduced unemployment insurance, which provides assistance to people who lose jobs through no fault of their own.
Unemployment insurance is a simple and well-tried-out system to prevent distress due to unemployment. It makes them a small but steady income, a small but steady market for the products of all of our business and all of our great industrial enterprises. And so it provides a tax imposed equally upon all employers in the United States who employ more than 10 people, but provides that they may offset against that tax any contributions which they have made to employment funds, employment insurance funds provided for by the laws of their state. This bill is an extremely important one, and one that the American people have the opportunity now to pass to their everlasting benefit.
UI is actually social insurance. It's different from the original system in England, for example, that existed before ours. That was a dole. This is social insurance. You get compensation if you are an attached member of the labor force, and if, in some sense, the premiums have been paid for you by your employer through your prior work. You have to have adequate earnings to be insured.
Not all of the ideas were implemented, in lockstep with the way in which they were initially fashioned, but the essence of them and the idea of really altering the American economy, the pump priming, the spending, the idea of putting people to work on public works programs and arts projects and all sorts of sectors of the economy that hadn't really been tapped in a large way before. The Civilian Conservation Corps. All of these programs were ways of opening Americans' eyes to new opportunities and to thinking about themselves not only as workers, but also people who deserve to be recognized as Americans. And that's what Social Security, the Wagner Act, unemployment insurance are all about.
Although the system has changed over the years, the basic concept has not. When people who lose their jobs sign up for unemployment insurance, they also register with Employment Service to find job opportunities. The system is funded by employer taxes, with rates based on stability of employment.
So you may have acceptable conditions of job separation, lack of work from your employer, but on an ongoing basis, you must be able, available, and actively seeking work, and you cannot refuse suitable work. And the Employment Service may offer work that they judge to be suitable given your occupation and experience. So this work test guarantees insurability of joblessness under the unemployment insurance system.
It's also a system that has passed the test of time.
This is an old system, but what that means is for a government system, that means it's one that works.
And the fact is that by these government actions, because there was a movement toward leftist solutions, these moderate and social insurance solutions, it could be argued, helped save the capitalist system in this country.
Unemployment insurance has become an institution. It is, of course, an entitlement program, but it is one that has so much value to society. I mean, a person's job is one of the most important things in their life. If they lose that job, it is a terrible blow mentally. It can be disastrous financially, physically. This safety net, known as unemployment insurance, is extremely important to a lot of people. And it is a good program. It's one that works. It's shown us its worth over the years, and it continues to show us worth. I'm proud to be a part of it.
Over the past few months, the unemployment insurance system in South Carolina and across the nation has been stressed by extended benefits and a tight economy. How safe is the safety net? South Carolina UI Director Alan Larson talks about challenges facing the system.
First of all, employers pay for the program. Contrary to a lot of people's belief, workers don't pay any part of the employment taxes. Employers pay all of the costs of the program. Now, who benefits from it? Well, both employers and claimants benefit. Employers, from the standpoint that sometimes they can use the benefit side of the house to maintain their workforce. If they have a temporary closing, for example, they may have to lay off their employees for a short period of time. Their employees still have the benefit of receiving claims, but also the employer didn't lose their workforce. And of course, the claimants, they have the benefit of receiving money to keep food on the table, keep a roof over their head, and pay other bills. So, a lot of people benefit. Right now, we have a little over 100,000 liable employers established. We have a little over 100,000 paying into the program each quarter. Those employers on an annual basis pay somewhere around $270 to $280 million into the program. Unfortunately, we're paying out somewhere around $300 million. Unfortunately, ever since 9/11 hit, we've had more benefits paid out every year for the past 8 years than we've had revenue. We have recently experienced, of course, a huge workload spike. Congress passed a federal extension of benefits for 13 weeks. It started back in July. We have brought on extra staff from other areas other than our benefit department, brought in staff from our local offices. We've been working extra hours during the week, on weekends. It's kind of hard to deal with it because, frankly, we have been experiencing budget cuts just like the state has. Well, this is not a problem that's isolated just to South Carolina. It's a nationwide problem that sort of goes along with the state of the national economy. So what happens if we go insolvent? What would happen now is that we would apply for loans from the federal government. That is something that we really want to try to avoid, but based on the figures that we're having to deal with right now, it looks inevitable that we are going to be going insolvent. Possibly before the end of the year, for sure, during the first quarter of 2009. We're not exactly sure what we're going to be facing in terms of layoffs in November and December. Historically, that's a high workload period for us, but we have been hearing reports that there's going to be more plant closings, permanent plant closings, and more layoffs over and above what we normally have. So out of a due diligent, trying to be good stewards of the program, we tried to prepare for the worst and hope for the best.
When people lose their jobs, self-esteem is often the first thing to go. At the Aiken faith-based initiative Jobs for Life, it's also the first area of focus. As one participant put it, a lot depends on the value that you put on yourself.
Jobs for Life is a faith-based program based principally to help people change their lives. It's for un- and underemployed people. It's a 16-class, 8-week program of 2 hours each class, a total of 32 hours. We guarantee that if a person will come in and do the program and do the homework and do everything that is required of them, that they will have a life-changing experience and they will have a successful career, because in the program they also find out what their gifts are, what God has given them as far as a gift and a purpose in life. And once a person gets that, they really understand what life's all about.
My wife, who is the director of Christ Central here in Aiken, was introduced to Jobs for Life, and it was suggested that we go to Raleigh and take a look at it. We are originally from Raleigh, North Carolina. We spent 30+ years there. And so when we found that that's where the program was, we were obviously excited about going and checking into it.
I was sold. I mean, I got sold when they said that of thousands and thousands of graduates that we've had in Jobs for Life, 83% of those are still employed a year later. Maybe not in the same job, but they're employed. I got involved in Jobs for Life.
I play golf with Don's wife, Sue, and he invited me to go to a meeting at Christ Central about Jobs for Life, and I resisted for about 3 months. I lasted for about 3 months, and finally couldn't back out any longer and went and got very excited. His excitement just infects other people. So I came to the first meeting of Jobs for Life and realized that this is something that I could do and really enjoy doing in my spare time.
Jobs for Life is about building people, and you start that by building people up. They have to have better self-esteem. They have to feel better about themselves. The people who come to Jobs for Life have been involved all their life with people telling them what they can't do and why they'll be failures and the fact that they'll never amount to anything. In Jobs for Life, it's about building the person up. We focus on the positive attributes of the person.
Once people understand what their lives should look like, they do it. So I get to be part of a transformation in somebody's life, and that's exciting.
About 6 months ago, I went to Christ Central and interviewed with Don Boyer, and it was basically for my husband. I was trying to get him involved with Jobs for Life to help him find a job and everything. And when we sat there and were doing the interview, right before this class started, I looked at him and I said, you know, you've got a lot to teach and I have a lot to learn, and I would like to join your class if it would be possible. I said, I'll be bringing my husband every week, twice a week, so could I please get involved in it? And they said yes.
The homework is not 1 and 1 or 2. It's tell us about yourself, because the more they understand and see in writing themselves, then when we get to the a point of writing resumes, we're at that point right now where they are going to write a resume. And a resume is a picture of what every experience you've had in the workplace for your whole life. And we help them draw it up. They make that happen. Then they look and they see their name on a piece of paper, and it's exciting to them. And once that happens, then they know what to look for in a job. We're going to have One Stop come over, and they just do a great job of letting the people know that, hey, if you need this and need this, you go here, and they have most of the answers. And the people just grow and grow and grow, and then all of a sudden we become a family.
Because Jobs for Life starts with the premise that God has gifted everybody with something that they should use to help other people. Help your family, help yourself. Work is honorable. Because that is the premise. Once you buy into that, there is no stopping you with whatever it is that you decide to do. Because you realize that you have a purpose here on earth. You have a purpose. And if you don't fulfill that purpose, you are actually wasting time, wasting your gifts. And I think once people realize that, it's very exciting.
You've got your champions there. You've got people there that give you true, genuine love, and they'll always be there.
Champions is another term. We use it in Jobs for Life, but it's a term many people call mentors. A champion, we have one champion in class for every person we have in the class. So therefore, you get one-on-one attention, you get one-on-one focus, you get one-on-one assistance. You have someone who's there for you no matter what your problem is. If you're having trouble with homework, if you're having trouble with understanding, if you're having trouble with commitment, if you're having trouble with transportation, if you're having trouble with even sustaining a job after you get a job when you leave Christ Central and the Jobs for Life program, we still have champions who are there to help you for the first year. So it's not just about class time, it's about being with you and committed to you for up to a year. And that's one of the things that builds people's self-esteem and their importance, because we give value to the person. If they know that there's someone who's committed to them and they're spending their time and volunteering their time, then it makes them seem important. They know that they're worth something. They have value. And that's what we're trying to do, give them value.
I was married, and unfortunately I lost my husband last year, and so therefore I'm now a single person after 22 years of marriage. But because of Jobs for Life, I was able to go on because they're always there to encourage me, and so therefore I'm working. I am also going to be attending college this year, whereas this time last year, if you had told me I was going to go to college, I'd have told you no way. So I'm really looking forward to going on. And I want to be in the health field. I want to give back to people all the love that I receive from Jobs for Life.
I've learned that dependability, character counts. There's a lot of value that you need to put on yourself, and you need to feel valuable. There's a lot of things that I can learn in the present job that I'm in on how to be dependable and trustworthy, and to better myself and to try to prepare for something else that I might want to do in my life.
Jobs for Life saved my life. I was very depressed. I wasn't quite sure where I was going or how I was going to get there, but Jobs for Life saved me. They taught me that I could be somebody and that I was worthy of being somebody. And so therefore they built my confidence, and now I'm a working, successful person, and I feel great.
One of the goals of the South Carolina Employment Security Commission is to keep the citizens of this state working. We provide a great variety of services in cooperation with our workforce system partners to help businesses find the workers they need, and for individuals, the jobs they want. One service of the agency that helps both is JobCast. This is an audio service available through our website that features some of the top job listings available for each of the 46 counties across the state through our job bank. To access Jobcast, go to the South Carolina Employment Security Commission's website, www.sces.org, and look at the toolbar located on the left-hand side of our homepage. Click on the word Jobs. The next page you'll see will have an icon on the right side of the page for Jobcast. Click on the Jobcast icon, and you'll see a map of the state. You simply guide your cursor to the county where you may be interested in finding work. Click it and view some of the jobs that are available in that area. Click on the job of your choice and hear a recorded message describing the pertinent details related to that position, such as job requirements, working hours, salary, and benefits. An Allendale County employer is seeking qualified applicants for the position of Certified Nursing Assistant. Applicants for this position must have a Certified Nursing Assistant's license, as well as 6 months' experience working as a Certified Nursing Assistant. Duties for this position will include obtaining vital signs and attending to patients' needs. The successful applicant must be able to transport, push, and pull patients and equipment seeking assistance as needed. Duties will include standing and walking the majority of the shift. Working hours for this position will be discussed during the interview. The salary for this position will depend on experience and will be discussed during the interview. The job order number is 4579. To find out more about that particular job, contact your nearest SCESC Workforce Center or the Comprehensive One-Stop in your area. To see a listing of all the jobs the South Carolina Employment Security Commission has listed across the state, go back to the Jobs section on the website toolbar on the homepage and then click on South Carolina Job Link. To find out more about the programs and services featured on this show, be sure to visit our website, www.carolinaworks.org. Thanks for watching, and please join us again next time for Carolina Works.
Carolina Works is brought to you in part by the South Carolina Occupational Information System, South Carolina's official career resource network and your pathway to success.